Hello there, Tharindu. Welcome to the Sentence Guide course. My name's Andrew. I'm part of the team here at IELTSpodcast.com with Ben and the others. The way this works, every time you submit us an essay, we will go through it and make some suggestions, some comments, give you some advice, basically. With repetition, you'll be able to spot your own errors and will improve every single time. First of all, these are great. I really mean that. They are very impressive. Thanks for getting these into us. So let's jump straight in. What I'll do is I'll read over, and if I think anything could be made smoother, or if there's a better phrasing, or if there's a grammatical mistake, I'll pick it up and correct it. It would be useful for you to note down the errors along the way, just to make sure that you can learn as much as possible from it. So, recently, there has been little agreement regarding the status of present personal communication between families. So, my first comment would be that you just don't need that many words. You could say there has been much debate regarding communication between family members. So, we're specifically referring to family members as well, not communication between different families. So, personally, I believe that communication between family members has improved. With this essay, I intend to elaborate my opinion, while drawing examples from Harvard University and the IMF in order to support my argument. Cool. Nice one. Firstly, there are more means for communication at present. Than when? If you're saying there are more, then it's a comparative sentence. And although you've referred to the present, and so by the process of elimination, it must be the past, it would be better to say, firstly, you could say there are far more means of communication today than in the past. This is largely due to the introduction or the prevalence of communication platforms such as Facebook, Snapchat, and Skype. I'd say platforms because it's a little bit more generic. Applications makes it sound more like software, but Facebook is web-based, Snapchat mobile-based, Skype computer-based, well, multiple-based. So it's better, I think, just to use platforms to talk about a wider variety things. For example, Harvard University conducted a study, I would say, or conducted some research. Sounds better. So conducted a study on how effective these communication mediums are, and the results revealed an astonishing 4% improvement of communication within the families. See, again, you've made this just far too long. You could just say Harvard University conducted a study that revealed that communication within families has improved an astonishing 4% on 10 years ago. Whenever you're trying to convey an idea, it's always better to do it in as few words as possible. Being efficient with your language is really, really key. So you don't need all these words. I mean, I'm impressed that you've managed to create some very long sentences that are grammatically correct. Or rather, mostly grammatically correct. But if you simplify your language, you'll find that it gets much easier to manage sentences, and the grammar doesn't become a problem at all. So yeah, simplify a little bit. Cut down. Therefore, the current generation has more methods to keep in touch with their families, offering more instances for communication, or opportunities. Secondly, the cost of communication has reduced dramatically. Good. This has a significant impact in order to draw more parties towards communication. Or you could say, this produces a significant attraction, or this increases the attraction significantly of, let's say, mobile communication. Uptake of mobile communication increases with cost. Sorry, isn't it? You could say it inversely correlates with cost. If one's going one way and one's going the other, it's an inverse correlation. Based on statistics revealed by the IMF in 2015, so were the statistics released in 2015, or are the statistics about 2015? With this comma here, it's in the year 2015, so I'm going to assume that it's in 2015 the cost of communication had reduced by 3% when compared with 1995. In their study, they compared the average amount of the cost to communicate a standard message through all the communication mediums that were available in those periods. Yeah, again, I think this would start to be you're starting to venture into the area known as like additional and irrelevant information. Although the method by which they conducted their study is somewhat relevant to what you're saying, it's not relevant to the question itself of whether communication is less between family members. So now we've started to go off on a tangent about something slightly to the side. As a consequence of the lower cost, more people have the opportunity to communicate with their families and become connected, maybe? In conclusion, based on the illustrations given in the survey and research study, I would say, based on the conclusions we can draw from these examples, I firmly believe that communication between family members has improved significantly. In the future, I would even go so far as to say that it will grow more rapidly as the cost of communication will continue to decline. So smoothing it out a little bit, but mainly for you, I would say, if you find yourself writing a very long sentence, stop, or rather even finish the sentence, and then think, how can I make this smaller? Do a little bit of an editing exercise. When we, as writers are told, writers are often told to write drunk and edit sober, so that they write as much as possible with confidence, and then the next day they edit down ruthlessly. But that's the whole point, is to edit ruthlessly. If a word doesn't need to be there, then it shouldn't be there. So get used to, do some exercises where you write the sentence exactly as you want to write it, and then go over it and try to write it shorter, but with the same information in it. What you'll find doing this a few times is that it just becomes easier to write cleaner, neater, and simpler sentences. But let's move on to a second one. So on the issue of whether enjoyable activities, fun things, can be better than reading for kids. So let's have a go. It is quite arguable regarding the effectiveness of reading books. So again, we just need to smooth this out a little bit. So let's say the skills and imagination of a child can certainly be improved by reading books. The topic sentence at the start really should be much more general, but let's have a go. So I see, it's the addition of a couple of extra words which has made it a little bit difficult to read. So if we get rid of quite, then I see that what you're saying is there is a debate regarding the effectiveness. So what we could say is it's stuck. I would stick to there is considerable debate regarding the effectiveness of reading books in order to develop the skills and imagination of children. Personally, I believe that there are more enjoyable and better ways to achieve the same results, or to achieve the same or better results. This essay will illustrate my opinion together with associated examples from a New York university and the UK government. Firstly, playing video games on a gaming console offers numerous opportunities to learn communication skills, more ways to improve spatial awareness, and the ability to achieve active skills. See, active skills is more, I think, related to sports, isn't it? If you're going to talk about moving around and being active, we would save that for something that's not sitting down. So I would say that playing video games, and also communication skills are not, I wouldn't say are improved by video games. So just make sure that your examples support what you're saying. So I would say, firstly, playing on a games console offers numerous opportunities to learn key skills such as spatial awareness and hand-eye coordination. This will offer a richer experience that cannot be gained through reading books. Good. For example, University College of New York collected statistics of the students who played video games at home, and the results revealed that they were, if we're referring back to a study, we'll use the past tense, so that they were 5% more active at school compared to their classmates who did not undertake such activities. Therefore, compared to reading books, one can attain more skills via such activities. Cool. That's fine. Secondly, activities such as taking part in a sports competition or in sporting competitions can help to improve cognitive abilities and physical capabilities. Good. This contributes significantly to the growth of physical and mental well-being. Good choice of words. For instance, a study conducted by the UK government compared students with dynamic leisure time activities, I would say with active pastimes, or active pastimes, athletic hobbies, such as sports, against students who were non-active during their leisure time, or sedentary. If someone is doing something that is sitting down for a long time, it is a sedentary task or a sedentary lifestyle to do so sitting down. Their evaluations indicated that the latter group performed poorly at school, as they did not possess the vital skills that they would have achieved if they undertook an active task or more active tasks such as sports. I would use I would stick a thus on the end of there still. So thus, the benefits of physical activity, or thus physical activity is clearly absolutely essential, or is clearly essential to a healthy and happy life. In conclusion, considering the examples illustrated above, or the examples described above, I strongly believe that there are better ways to obtain skills and develop imagination than through reading alone. Cool. So yeah, your main fault, and these, don't worry about it, these are your first essays. For first essays, these are great. You've actually made a very common error, which is to try to use as many words as possible and to make sure that you sort of demonstrate your ability, which is clear. You have a very clear ability, but simplify your writing slightly and go for being as accurate as possible. One idea per paragraph, and simple sentences that can, with four together, can communicate that idea smoothly. You have used the acronym mostly, other than missing out a thus on the end of here. So I think if you had trimmed this down a bit and put a thus on the end of there, it would have been a little bit more relevant. It would have been more on point, which will help you to get more into above a 7. to be above sort of the 6 and 7 range in IELTS writing, you have to be completely on topic and precise and accurate. So that's what we're going for. Simplify, and what we need you to do now, actually, is put together your personal error list from this recording. Use it to correct these essays, and then in one email send us your error list, your corrected essays, and your responses to the 2 new essays in this email, and get them over to us as quickly as possible. We will have that graded and sent back to you, and we'll have you improved in no time. Well done for getting this far in the course. I hope you're enjoying it so far. You can go through and listen to this as many times as you want, or you can listen to the videos of other students that we've got on our YouTube channel to get some more advice. But I'll speak to you soon. Thanks again.